Welcome to AHAYAH'S Word. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the notification bell to know when a new video has been uploaded. I give credit to AHAYAH for the various articles, pictures, and other information from the various social media outlets, news articles, historical research articles, and other sources of information found on social media search engines. Here's the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Read it at your own leisure. See it to believe it. Because if you don't see it, you won't believe it. The reason why I call this video as such is because most beings won't believe until they physically see. What's worse is that they listen to what they call experts without an ounce of evidence and understanding to support it. Here's part of a new article, and it's come in parts and sections, so bear with me. Is this the end of the world? This is not the end of the world according to Christians who studied the end of the world. This article is by Julie Zuma and Zumawao and Sarah Pullum Bailey. If I said it wrong, I apologize. Let's get started. World with great deal of ransacked grocery stores, canceled sports seasons and other events. Eerie lines of people standing 6 feet apart from one another and looking suspiciously at each other. Isolation from loved ones as anxiety grows. Crashing stock markets while prices skyrockets quickly. The worldwide upheaval caused by the fast-spreading novel coronavirus pandemic has many people reaching for their Bibles and some starting to wonder, could this be the sign of the apocalypse? This is what I added. The end of the world continue. With the vaccines made rather quickly, vaccine mandates, which differs depends on who you speak to, continue wearing the mask whether you are vaccinated or not. Family and friends choosing to distance themselves, the vaccinated on one side and the unvaccinated on the other. Sports seasons is and are getting on the way. Outside and some inside dining and other events. And despite all that, people are still dying whether they have been vaccinated or not. Trying to get to what is called the new normal, because the old normal is gone. This is what our world leaders are doing. It's about wanting to be in control, acting like they are in control. But we all know who's really in control and always in control, AHAYAH. Here's some pictures, and I gave you the website over here by Real Organic Truth Media News Company about how the ingredients for some of the vaccines, and tinyearth.com, flu shot causes fetal death from CDC. They got this from the CDC website, and they're talking about how pregnant mothers are losing their children. Here, these each are ingredients in vaccines serve as a specific purpose, provide immunity, what they call protection, keep the vaccine safe, long-lasting, and for production of the vaccine. This is the CDC website you can get this from. Here are the different types of ingredients, examples, purpose, and most common source found. You got the preservatives. You got Thermosoul, only in multi-dose viral or flu vaccine. They used to have it in a regular vaccine, but now they only have it in the flu vaccine. That's basically mercury. It says its purpose to prevent contamination, and is most common found from eating foods such as a certain kind of fish, which this mercury comes from. That's why it's good to eat fish, but not too much. And here's the other one that have, I can't pronounce these words, these preservatives. It's called adjuvant. It's aluminum salts. It's supposed to help boost the body response to vaccine. From drinking water, infant formula, or use of health products such as, antacid, buffet, aspirin, and antiperspirants. Stabilizer, sugar, and gelatin. Gelatin is just another way of saying pork. To keep the vaccine effective after manufacture. From eating foods such as jello and resides in body naturally. That's what they say. I don't know. Residual cell culture materials. Egg protein. To grow enough of the vaccine or bacteria to make the vaccine. From eating foods and containing eggs. Residual activating ingredients. Formaldehyde. I know. To kill viruses or inactive toxin during the manufacturing process. Resides in the body naturally more in body than vaccine. Also found automobile exhaust and household products, furnishings such as carpets and upholstery. Residual antibiotics, Neospin, to prevent contamination by bacteria during the vaccine manufacturing process. Antibiotics that people are most likely to be allergic to, like penicillin, aren't used in vaccines. So they say. Now you see all this. I'm going to take a couple of these and I'm going to let you know something about them. It's not good. It's dangerous. Thermosoul has a different form of mercury than the kind that causes mercury poison. It is safe to use and ethyl mercury in vaccine because it processed differently in the body and is less likely to build up in the body, and because it is used in tiny amounts. Even so, most vaccines do not have any kind of Thermosoul in them. Learn more about Thermosoul, mercury, and vaccine safety. Because influenza and yellow fever vaccine are both made in eggs, egg proteins are present in the final products. However, there are 2 new flu vaccines now available for people with egg allergies. People who have severe egg allergies should be vaccinated in a medical setting and be supervised by a healthcare professional who can recognize and manage severe allergic conditions. Mercury, too much of it, or any of it, is not good. Whatever's in our body is always enough. Why add more to it if it's not necessary? That's just my personal opinion. Formaldehyde is diluted during the manufacturing process, but residual quantities of formaldehyde may be found in some current vaccines. The amount of formaldehyde present in some vaccines is so small compared to the concentration that occurs naturally in the body that it does not pose a safety concern. So they say. Now, here are the dangers of Thermosoul. I have a profile by author Keith Clore on Robert Kennedy Jr. That's right. In the Washington Post magazine, during our numerous conversations over the phone and in person, he said, I found in him to be candid, self-depreciating, and unshakably confident in his belief that Thermosoul was a dangerous ingredient that should not be in vaccines. It was phased out of U.S. Pediatric vaccines in the early 2000s, but it remains in some flu vaccines. Yeah, see, they took out of the vaccines and they put it only in some flu vaccines. Now, here's from Science Daily. A team of cell biologists, toxicologists, and molecular bioscientists at UC Davis has published a study connecting Thermosoul with disruption in antigen-presenting cells known as dendritic. I'm not saying it right. I'm sorry. Cells contained from mice. The study provides the first evidence that these cells show unprecedented sensitivity to this mercury, resulting in fundamental changes in the immune system ability to respond to external factors. As you read further, this is the first time that This mercury has been shown to be selectively altered the normal function of the cells. Oh my goodness, said Isaac Pessa, a toxicologist with the UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine, director of the Children's Center for Environmental Health and Disease Prevention, and senior author of the study. Dendritic cells play pivotal roles in overcoming viral and bacterial invaders by coordinating the immune system overall combat response. One of these cells can be activated as many as 300 T cells, white blood cells. And we all remember the white blood cells are supposed to help our immune system. They help find and kill external agents that attack the immune system, making them the most effective immune system activators. How are you attacking the immune system activators with this poison, this mercury poison? The dangers of formaldehyde. Now, before we get in, we already know where we heard of formaldehyde. For those of us who had to identify deceased loved ones and get them ready for a funeral before we bury them, formaldehyde is used as embalming fluid. And as you'll see, it'll be in there. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, as we all know it. Formaldehyde is common to the chemical industry. It is well known for a preservative in medical laboratories as an embalming fluid and as a sterilizer. It's primarily used in the production of resin and such a chemical intermediate. Formaldehyde and the other pentanol of formaldehyde resin are used in foam installation as adhesive in the production of particle board and plywood and in the treating of textiles. Wow, so some of our houses may be having formaldehyde. Check out these embalming alternatives to avoid formaldehyde. As you read further in the article, you realize that people are realizing that formaldehyde can cause cancer. And I'm going to go skip the alternative, but I'm going to get to what is formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a naturally occurring organic compound with the formula of CH2O. It is highly toxic to humans and animals, regardless of the method of intake. Embalming fluid that use formaldehyde are not only expensive and terrible for the environment, but also linked to cancer. And they are trying to give a cancer. No wonder. Let's continue. The world always looking for a worldly sign only. The Hollywood influence. Here are some of the list of movies, TV shows that I have picked up and watched. And they're still making more, so don't worry. You know, you got some like Left Behind series, 20 years after, 28 days later, and so on and so forth. And TV shows like The 100, Star Trek series, Battlestar Galactica, and so on. When watching these movies and TV shows, your imagination can lead you to believe that they show hints of what the end times would look like. Continue. The world always looking for a sign. There's signs in the sky as well as other events, but the most of the world don't recognize either as they're happening. Let's read some scripture. Matthew 16:4. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah or Jonas, and he left them and departed. Matthew 12:38. Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we will see a sign from thee. Continue. 1 Corinthians 14:22. Wherefore tongues are for a sign, not to them that believe, but to them that believe not. But prophesying serveth not for them that believe not, but for them which believe. In other words, for those of us who believe, When people are prophesying, we know what's about to happen. When people prophesy, they get word from the Father to let you know when something's about to happen. It may happen in an instant, right after they say it, and sometimes it may happen somewhere down the line, but it will happen. Luke 12:25-27. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars. Upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now we've been seeing on the earth, the nations they're distressed with perplexity. They cannot control this virus as it keeps mutating. And every time they try to make a new vaccine, men are in fear. They're trying to hide it, but they are in fear. The sun shows it, the blood moon, stars. If you look up in the sky, it's showing you. You just have to understand when the Father said the signs are in the sky as much as is on the earth. Acts 2:19. And I will show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. Here's what you need to remember. In Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of its judges. If not, where and who is he? So the world and life as we know it to be is ending speedily and with intensity. There are so many clues the Most High gives us. It's about having and keeping him close. Just being close to him, looking to him. Now we forget at times the world has been given to the hands of the wicked. And it's already changing where things that are not good or evil is turned to be good, and things that are good are turning to be evil. These are some things that has already happened, is happening as we speak, or getting ready to happen, because the world as we know it is coming to an end. Crime is rising. Here's something that happened some time ago. Colorado parents arrested on child abuse charges for severely injuring twin baby boys. Don't feel so safe? Not like you used to. Next, don't feel so free? Justice with Judge Jeanine Pirro. Biden is infringing more and more on America's freedoms. Eric Shawn, vaccinate your children for COVID-19. Owen warns parents time is now to remove your children or kids from indoctrinating camps. Thousands around the globe protest COVID-19 shots and lockdowns. You see that right now. People whose lifestyle is an abomination unto AHAYAH has more rights. Told you, evil is turning to good. House passes sweeping LGBTQ rights bill. LGBTQ plus rights around the world. They have rights varying greatly between countries. Transgender individual can join the military only in 19 countries so far, and it may even be more. Got Canada, Bolivia, French Guyana, Spain, France, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Estonia, the Czech Republic, Austria, Germany, Belgium, Israel, the fake Israel, Australia, and New Zealand and Thailand allows transgender individuals to join only in administrative positions. I'm surprised they didn't put United States in there, because I know. These are some of the things that, like I said, continue to happen. It's happening as we speak, or getting ready to happen, because the world as we know it is coming to an end. It continues. In some countries, homosexuality is illegal, while in other it is legal, but organizations and promotion of non-traditional sexual relations are illegal. In a few countries, homosexuality can receive a death penalty. Homosexual activity is a capital offense in Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Nigeria, Sudan, and Somalia. Here's some scriptures. Genesis 2, chapter 2, and verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And it didn't say cleave unto his boyfriend or his male partner. It said his wife. A wife is a woman. Exodus 22:19. Whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death. That's bestiality. Leviticus 18:22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. He tell you straight out the gate, being gay, having that gay lifestyle is an abomination. Leviticus 18:6. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Most High. In other words, do not seek to see your family nakedness. It is wrong. It is a sin. Leviticus 20:13. If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Here's some more. 1 Corinthians 6, verses 9 and 10. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of AHAYAH? But be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of AHAYAH. These are people that not only commit suicide, because they're killers of themselves or anybody else, whether spiritually or physically. People that have relations that are not natural or not right according to the Most High. And if you think about it, it's not right at all. It makes perfect sense. Romans 1:26-28. For this cause AHAYAH gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. In other words, he gave these homosexual, gay people, lesbian people up and let them do what is against nature. It is natural for a man and woman to get together. The Father made it that way. But he gave them up. So if he said they insist on doing this wickedness, go ahead. But I will deal with you when the time comes. And likewise also that men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust toward another. Men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. And even as they did not like to retain AHAYAH in their knowledge, AHAYAH gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. Romans 1:29-32. Being filled with the unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of AHAYAH, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of AHAYAH, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only to do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. That means do not be guilt by association. Do not tell people it's okay for them to do not do it. You don't partake in it. You don't. If you see it, it's a no-no. Do not partake in that. Do not part of it. You're just as guilty. Here's some YouTubes. In YouTube, these are some of the Nigerian movies about gay relations, even though the actors aren't in real life. But they show that even they know about these things. And I've seen there are some that may be, which I'm not surprised. I believe gay people all around the world. It's just that some people hide it while others don't. Here's another note. Marvez Shama, a gay filmmaker, exposes Mecca, that's right, Saudi Arabia, in a new film called A Sinner in Mecca. And filmmaker interviewed by Extra Magazine. So check that out on YouTube. And this is two of the movies here. Here we continue. This is the world. This is not the end of the world, according to the Christians who study the end of the world. Continue. Chuck Pierce, who calls himself a Palestinian prophet and leads a prophetic ministry. No, said Pierce, who is based in Corinth, Texas. The Lord's shown me through 2026, so I know this isn't the end of time. Now, my thing is this. Now, think about it. Would AHAYAH give anyone a year? I know he has given how long? Like 70 years in Babylon, starting with King Nebuchadnezzar and ending with King Cyrus II of Persia. He's even told us of his son Yeshua coming to the earth to die for his chosen people, sins, not everyone. My thoughts. If he had given a year, people would do wickedness, and then before the year come, they decide to act righteous. Well, higher, anything is possible. The reason why I say that is because when the Father says, be righteous, don't follow the way of heathens, he's been saying that for a long time. And even though he knows it takes people a while to become righteous, he don't expect you to wait until the last minute. That's why people always say you're supposed to live each day as though it was your last, because you don't know when your last day will come. Matthew 19:26. But Yeshua beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with AHAYAH all things are possible. 1 John 4:1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of AHAYAH, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. In other words, history repeats itself. Here we go again. This is not the end of the world, according to Christians who study the end of the world. Continue. But not if you ask Christian writers and pastors who have spent years focusing their message on the book of Revelation, the New Testament final book. It lays out a lucrative, poetic vision of the end times, in which many evangelical leaders interpret it to mean that Jesus will return to earth. Believers will be raptured to heaven, and those left behind will suffer 7 dreadful years of calamities. Most of the Revelation-focused philosophers don't see coronavirus as heralding the second coming and the end of life on earth as we know it. If a person were just completely ignorant about what the Bible says about the end times, they may think this right now, this is it, said Jeff Kinley, a writer of books on biblical prophecy who lives in Harrison, Arkansas. In 2010, 41% told Pew Research Center that they expected Jesus to return by 2050. Kinley pointed to Revelation 6a, which forecasts death all over the globe by sword, famine, and plague. And Jesus' words about the events before the end times in Luke 21:11. There will be great earthquake, famines, and pestilence in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven. I think he's referring to a future time, Kinley said. I don't think this is the actual fulfillment of that. The Bible is very specific about what will happen before the end times, Kinley said. And those events haven't all unfolded yet. For one major thing, the ancient temple in Jerusalem is supposed to be rebuilt first. In Revelation 6:8, I'm reading it. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on it was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with beasts of the earth. Explosive violence, and this is as November 2021. In November 2021, action on armed violence recorded 1,018 deaths, injuries from 137 incidents of explosive violence around the world, as reported in English language media. Civilians accounted for 43%, that's 435 of the deaths and injured recorded. When explosive violence was used in populated areas, 86% of all casualties were civilians, compared to 11% in other areas. Impoverished explosive weapons accounted for 52% of 225 of these civilian casualties in November 2021, while manufactured explosive weapons accounted for 45% or 197 of the main launch methods types of manufactured explosive weapons. Ground-launched explosive weapons were responsible for 31% of civilian casualties, 133, and air-launched explosive weapons for 15% or 64. The remaining 3% of civilian casualties was caused by landmines, that's 13. At least one death or injury from the use of explosive weapons was recorded in 21 countries, territories in November of 2021. The 5 most impacted countries were Syria, Yemen, Afghanistan, Somalia, and Uganda in terms of civilian casualties. Violence is all over the place. When I show you about those parents getting charged for twin boys, look at the news. Don't just look at your local news. Look at the national news in other parts of the place where you live. Look at the world news around the world. It's not just these kind of violence. It's not just protest violence. It's all kind of people are just running people over. Come on. Seriously? Violence, explosive violence in November 20. This is what they're talking about. And I believe it's more than that. I believe it's a whole lot more. And they said primary country, world. The world. Other countries. The ones I mentioned. Afghanistan, Somalia, Syria, Arab Republic, Uganda, Yemen. These are action on armed violence. This is just over explosives. We didn't even get to where people shooting each other, running people over, using all kinds of things like swords and axes to actually kill people and hurt people. This is not the end of the world, according to Christians who study the end of the world continues. Gary Ray, a writer for the prophecy website Unsealed, agreed. He and his fellow evangelical end-time writers are focused on what is happening with holy sites in Israel, not disease. The key focus that we have in our mind is Israel. That's God's prophetic clock. As things progress in that country, we get closer to when the rapture of the church will occur, and then the tribulation, he said. Ray, who lives near Dallas, pointed out that there have been many pandemics in the world history. That's right. And none of them have been a token of an approaching apocalypse. You don't know that. But this one might be different. He acknowledged because of an astrological event acknowledged because an astrological event in 2017 Ray reads as fulfilling a prophecy in Revelation. Jesus said there will be pestilence and great signs in heaven, and sure enough, both of those things are happening together. In Ray's opinion, these portent should send non-Christians rushing towards the Bible so they can convert while there is still time before the Christians are raptured and everyone else has to endure the wretched 7 years. God is very gracious, God, he said. He wants the most possible people to be saved. He's giving sign after sign after sign, and they are very clear. These are some of the things that has already happened, is happening, and we speak or getting ready to happen because the world as we know it is coming to an end. It continues. Let's read Matthew 24, 3-14. As he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciple came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yeshua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilence, and earthquakes in divers places. And all these are the beginning of sorrows. See, these are the beginning of sorrows. And then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. In other words, these things have to come before the end. This is why they call end time prophecy, because things have to happen in order for it to come to the end. The end, it's not the end yet, but prophecy continues to unfold and intensify. End time prophecy. Wars and rumors of wars. So-called Israel, and I say that, has been warring against Palestine for years, and it's intensifying even more. U.S. putting sanctions against Iran. Russia and China and others look like they're getting ready to war against the U.S. and so forth. Look at how the nations are treating each other. That being polite business is going down the tubes. Famine. You can read here what famine is. It's basically a shortage of food, a lack of it, scarcity, poverty, you name it. In 2021, all the areas immediate risk of famine are in conflict-affected context of Yemen, South Sudan, northeastern Nigeria, and Tigray in Ethiopia. I hope I said that right. Violent conflict causes famine not only by affecting the production and distribution of food, but also by preventing humanitarian food assistance from getting to those who need it most. But that's not only the thing that's happening. If you look in the country, you look in this country in America, we always have humanitarian food assistance. And usually it wasn't that many people. But now more and more since the pandemic happened, people are out of jobs, they're not working. And right now, people are like, the ones that don't have the shots, they're not able to work because they're not willing to get it. But there's some jobs that may be out there that they don't. Only the Father can lead you to that. But the thing is this, ever since that whole pandemic happened, things has been financially going crazy. And people that generally never needed food assistance are getting food assistance. Getting all these other benefits that the government is willing to help them with. Because they're not in the same financial stability that they once was used to. The definition of pestilence, a contagious or infectious epidemic disease that is virulent and devastating, especially the bubonic plague, measles, influenza, malaria, tuberculosis, hepatitis B and C, dengue fever, and yes, coronavirus. And it's something that is destructive. And you can't tell me it's not destructive. You may think coronavirus is going away. It ain't going nowhere. And they have no control over it. It is not the end yet, but prophecy continues to unfold, intensify. Earthquakes. We all know what earthquake is. It's known so as a quake, tremor, and so forth. It's shaking the surface of the earth, resulting in sudden release of energy in the earth and creates dramatic waves. You know, when the earth starts shaking, when it starts shaking on the surface, everything is shaking. Now, I got 21 robes, and now they all talking about these different places I have here, like New Zealand, Japan, Fukushima, Philippines, Haiti, United States, all these places, and then some, been having quakes, and they still having them. And I'm talking about even Indonesia. Here are some of the earthquakes that happened recently. Greenland, Fiji Islands. These are just a small portion. Go to the websites that you see listed over here on this video to see the whole entire list. If you had to go back from the whole time when it started until now, yes, it's still happening. Volcano eruption continues. Overall, 48 volcanoes were in continued eruption status as of October 15, 2021. An eruption marked as a continuing does not always mean persistent daily activity, but indicates at least intermittent eruption events without a break of 3 months or more. Detailed statistics are not kept on a daily activity, but generally there are around 20 volcanoes actively erupting on any particular day. This is a subset of the normal 40-50 with continuing eruptions. And then additional eruption data is available for recent years. Complete updates are done every 6 to 8 weeks, but information about newer eruption can be found in the weekly report. Now, they was doing it then. Now, the weekly Volcanic report is a cooperative project between the Smithsonian Global Volcanism Program and the U.S. Geological Survey Volcano Hazard Program. It's got to the point they do not wait, because reason why is because volcanic activity report here is preliminary and subject to change. In other words, the volcanoes are going off, and sometimes they don't even get noticed. By the time they get the notice, like La Palma, it's still erupting. It's still erupting. It ain't over till the Father says it's over. And here's some of these volcanic activity report. This is for the week of December 8th to the 14th. You got a few new ones, and you got one that's been out there and they still continue to erupt. Flood. Is your ark ready? Flooding are surging around the world and seem to become a new normal. Some of the floods in 2021. This is from February to August. And as we all know, China's still like they're about to go underwater. You see, they said from June to present. I mean, it has not stopped. And right now, this is the death toll thus far. I haven't seen an update yet. But feel free to look at the about the floods of 2021. I wouldn't be surprised if the death tolls got even bigger. Some wildfires from 2020 to 2021 so far. Some of these fires are not out. They go out and then they go somewhere else. The Father's not playing. He said Y'all getting on my nerve? I'm about to clean. I'm cleaning up. All these things are happening, and what happened in diverse places. Diverse places is a phase. Diverse places just means different places. And they've been happening all over the world. So I don't see how some people don't think that these is not end time prophecies, but that's just me. I pay attention to the Father. Now, in the article, it said also look into the Most High's people. Who really are highest people? To look to his chosen people, Yasharel, or people called Israel, you have a people that has been put to shame more than all other people in the nation. And people think that, it's the people that we've been looking to all this time, but it's not. His inherited nation has suffered over 400 years, more than 400 years. I have here for 400 years all over the world, but it's more than 400 years. And now those nations are now suffering, for we will be free to worship Ahayah in truth and Rahak, or just spirit. In Genesis 15, 13, 14, and he said unto Abram, know for surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance. So, yeah. Amos 9, 14, 15. And I will bring again the captivity of my people, of Yasharel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I had given them, saith the Most High, the Elohim. See? He said, after all that, I'm going to take you to a place that is yours, that is I've given you, and you will not be taken out of that land no more. Living very, very well. Zechariah 13, 8 and 9. And it shall come to pass that in the land, in all the land, saith the Most High, 2 parts, that's 2/3, therein shall be cut off and die. So, those of you who's not following the Most High, you better go find out who you are and start following him in spirit and truth. You better start worshiping, because other than that, you will be cut off and die. But the third shall be left therein, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried. They shall come on my name. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Most High is my Elohim. Continue. Who is really our highest people? To look to his chosen people of Yasharel. You have a people that has, like I said, been put to shame more than any other nation. Okay? Zephaniah 3, 19 to 20. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee. I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth. When I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Most High. Ooh, Father. Hallelujah. Deuteronomy 21, 22 to 23. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged is accursed of Ahayah, that thy land be not defiled, which the Most High thy Ahayah giveth thee for inheritance. And if you look to Deuteronomy 28:15-68, you see some of the other curses. In other words, our people been hanged more than anybody. I'm not going to say other people wasn't hanged, but not the way our people were. And because they were hanged, not only was they cursed for being hanged, but we all were the cursed people. So don't start. People always want to put in their 2 cents of their history. Galatians 3:13. Hamashiach has redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree. Pay attention, y'all. Here we go. This is not the end of the world according to the Christian who studied the end of the world. It continues. Michael Brown, host of a Christian radio show, The Line of Fire, based in Charlotte, also said the coronavirus is not a sign of end times. What are these people going to understand? But a good opportunity for reflection on what he believes will come. I see this as a trial run to see how we respond to calamity and hardship, he said. If we're shaken now, how are we going to react when it really gets wild? One reason for all this relativity rosy assessment from people who might otherwise be doomsday prophesiers, it might be President Trump's attitude towards the virus. The president, who was very popular among evangelical Christians, for weeks played down the seriousness of the disease threat. His tone, however, grew markedly more concerned this week, or the week when he was in office, I should say. James Beverly, a professor at Tyndale Seminary in Toronto, said he found in researching his forthcoming book on Trump and Christian prophecy that charismatic and Pentecostal prophets who normally think the end times are near have been less likely to forecast doom during the Trump administration. Some are saying that Satan is the source of evil, like the virus, but the doom and gloom message is missing. There is such a positive view on Trump and such strong wishes for his re-election, which didn't happen, that there is deep hope that the virus will die out, and it didn't. A strong economy will return, and Trump will defeat the Democratic nominee. Beverly wrote in an email, "It is stunning how optimistic, charismatic prophets are since Trump won in 2016. Yeah, I guess they ain't that charismatic and optimistic now. There are some things that are happening, have been happening, and get ready to happen because the world as we know it is coming to an end. The beast system, AHAYAH'S word, described the end-time world kingdom as dreadful and terrifying beasts, and like it is in Daniel 7:7. After this I saw night vision, and behold, the fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, stamped the residue with the feet of it. It was a diverse from all the beasts that were before it. It had 10 horns. The beast system has been activated throughout the world since the events of Babel, which is in Genesis 11:1-9. And the whole earth And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. It came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelled there. And they said to one another, Go to and let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and the slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to and let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. Let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Most High came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men build. And the Most High said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to and let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Most High scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore, This is the name of it called Babel, because the Most High did there confound the language of all the earth, and for thence did the Most High scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. Understand that when they was getting ready to bring that Tower of Babel, they wanted to be up in the heavens with the Most High. They wanted to, and I wouldn't be surprised when they wanted to take over for the Most High. And the Most High said, oh, really? Y'all won't be building that tower. So when he confounded their language, they could no longer understand each other. And the Tower of Babel was never built. And it was destroyed, and leaving only 1/3. Which I feel like it's almost like it represents 1/3 of his people that's going to be saved. The beast system is a plot to bring humanity into a hive mind mentality through spiritual rituals, killings, technology, and mental programming. The powers to be, or the elites, has been, or I should say the world leaders, is and is using politics and government, religion, business, entertainment, law, medical, education, with no moral compass, sense of truth or righteousness. By learning how to spot it, you can avoid being a part of it, or say stop being a part of it, and make it better spiritual decisions for you and your family. There are some things that has already happened as we speak, or getting ready to happen, because the world as we know it is coming to an end. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 16 and 17. For the Adonai himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with a voice of the archangel, and with a trumpet of AHAYAH, and the dead in the Hamashiach will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Adonai in the air, and so we shall always be with Adonai. These are just a couple of other verses besides Revelation that talk about being caught up. But there are a lot of other things that have to happen, like the 2 witnesses. People need to understand what you expect the Father to do as far as in Revelation, which others scripture do also is repeated in there, and bear witness as you will if you read it. We are bearing the Father witness that though this is not the end yet, that the end is coming. This is what you call end-time prophecies. See, these people that wrote this article and and spoke to these people and interviewed them, they don't know the Most High. They don't know AHAYAH the way we are starting to understand him. And because they don't, they always assume, oh yes, for on 2050, that. This world will end when the Father said this world will end. To know our Heavenly Father is to know how he operates. AHAYAH'S word have all the evidence in there. It's not just from the Old Testament and the New Testament. It's also in the Third Testament, as well as a lot of other missing books. You have to know the past or what happened back then to know some things are happening now. The end, as we know it, as things was happening, was already starting to happen. What the Father did was he gives a little, like say for the plagues, the various plagues, he'd give a little here, a little there. But that don't mean now the plagues are coming back. They are coming back right, behind each other. But even though they put more of the coronavirus out there, it ain't going away either. So people really need to take a good look at what they're looking at, what is happening. And if you're still not sure, ask the Father. Ask him. Because if you really love him, like it says in John 14:15, if ye love me, keep my commandments. That means still follow the law. And like I said in Ecclesiastes 1:9, the thing have been, it is that which shall be, and that shall which be done. There is no new thing under the sun. What happened years ago is happening now. Your faith and belief have to be on point, which means it's a process that you have to work on. In Hebrews 11:11, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That means you don't have to see it, but already believe it before you see it. I have never seen Yeshua, but that I mean I don't believe he didn't exist, that it didn't happen. Matthew 21:22, and all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive it. Ask him for what you need, not what you want. Your need and your want should be one and the same. Your physical self only needs the basics: food, clothes, shelter. Your spiritual self needs a whole lot more. Believe that you will receive it. Ask, and you shall receive. Remember he said, knock, and it shall be answered. When he tell you to ask, you know it shall be. If you believe, it'll be given unto you. Now, I have a few pictures coming up. I wonder, what do you see? Do you believe what you see? Here's Melinda Gates. A cross is a curse, for it is blaspheming Yeshua's death, which he hanged on a tree. The definition of blasphemy is the act of insulting or showing contempt or lack of reverence for a higher. In Matthew 12:31, therefore I say to you, any sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven people, but blasphemy against the Spirit shall not be forgiven. Just like in Genesis 14, and also the nation which he helped represents, who we have served. That's why he said, whom they shall serve, will I judge. Afterward shall they come out with great substance. He is judging the nation that we have been in captivity to. Next, Kamala Harris. What's up with Kamala Harris and her neck and her lower lip? Like something going on. Ask the Father, you want to get to that one. He knows everything. Now, her little brief history. Harris' mother was Hindu and her father was Christian. She grew up attending both services at a Black Baptist church and the Hindu temple. Harris says she's a Baptist. Apparently, she picked whatever her father was. She's your VP. I call her the VP. When she did her October interview in Interfaith Youth Corps, that her faith journey started when she was young. Apparently it did. Her husband, Douglas Imhoff, is Jewish. Go figure that one. What's going on with Dr. Fauci's neck? Look closely. It looks like it's not really him. Like you can pull up from the neck and pull up a mask. Like, you know, when you're doing, who used to do that Halloween, that pagan holiday Halloween, you put the mask over your head. You can take it off anytime. Dr. Fauci is a follower of the Catholic religion since birth. He was also educated sons of Catholic in the Jesuit tradition at Regis High School. That means since birth. What do they have in common? They are all about wrong religions. The other wicked ways. AHAYAH is not about these religions, and he knew his people would be tempted. But some left while others stayed. For it is written in 1 Maccabees 1, chapter 1, verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites, or Yasharella, consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Shabbat. Whose religion? Hasatan. The Book of Mormon concerning this record, the prophet Joseph Smith said, I told the brethren that the Book of Mormon was the most correct of any book on earth, and the keystone of our religion, and a man will get closer to AHAYAH by abiding by its precepts than by any other book. Chapter 6 of the Third Testament, the great book of life. The book of love, the truth, and wisdom of The book of my word is the book of divine and true love. In it, you will find the unchangeable truth. Turn to it, and you will find the wisdom that will help you to evolve and attain peace in eternity. He will be at fault who will alter or modify its essence and will greatly infringe my law. Who should take or add a single word which will be in a disagreement with my perfect doctrine? Safeguard this word with this original purity, for it is the most beautiful heritage that I will bequeath to man. Record my teaching and allow it to be known to your brethren. Keep it faithfully because you are responsible for that heritage. This doctrine, which because it reveals the spiritual, is called spiritualist. It is the road traced for man by which he will come to know, serve, and love his Creator, which is AHAYAH. It's telling you, his religion, his doctrine is truth. You don't add a single word or take away from it. He said, if you take away from his word, he will take away from you. If you add to it, he add to the plagues. If you take away, he will take, I forgot how it went. But you know it's wrong either way. It's like leave it as is. Don't start trying to change stuff. Could these beings be demonic cloaked as people? As I say again in Matthew 19:26, but Yeshua beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with AHAYAH all things are possible. Now, this picture right here is, this video right, yes, this section right here is, AHAYAH will always be the greatest healer ever. Stop taking man-made cure. Does it matter what kind of pill? No. Just check it out. When I look at that, I didn't even care what kind of pill it was. I just know this was not good. In my stomach, Father. Because when you look in the Bible, pharmakia, read about this pharmakia in the Greek word and what it means in drugs, how it means sorcery, witchcraft. These are the books in which they talk about it. Galatians 5:20, Revelation 9:20 to 21, Revelation 18:23 to 24, Revelation 21:8, and Revelation 22:15. That's right. Pharmakia. And where do you get your medicine from when the doctor gave you the prescription? The pharmacy. That's what pharmakia. Most doctors and nurses are witches and wizards and warlocks and wizards. These people, that's their whole thing. They know that the food is not good. So we normally go to the doctor. Oh, I don't feel good. They fill out their prescription for their sorcery. And there we go taking it. Don't trust everything. Take it to the Father before you do anything. Here's some more. Food, when raw, uncooked, or ripe, is preventive medicine. The Father gave you a way to be healthy, stay in good health. And when you're sick, be back to health. Recommendations. Recommendation for YouTube was Big Levi, Big Judah, and AHAYAH'S Truth Network. Also, above all, let the Ruach HaKodesh or the Holy Spirit lead you to all truth. Stay in prayer. Shalom, family. Thanks for watching.